So, you've just started Reverse 1999, and you're probably looking at all these characters and modes, but is not sure where to start. Trust me, we've all been there. It's almost the second anniversary now, and the game has gotten a lot of new content. I was originally planning to make a single beginner guide video to help new players out, but it turns into this massive super long script, and nobody wants that. I also didn't want to leave out key details just to make it shorter. So instead of making a 50 minutes monstrosity that would have felt like an online class, I'm splitting the guide into 3 smaller parts to keep things chill and easy to digest. For this first video, we are just going to be tackling the most important stuff to get your accounts off the ground. We'll talk about how character upgrade works and which content should you check out for different resources in the game. We'll also go over the different type of character and banners, which is pretty important for a gacha game. Let's kick things off by breaking down exactly how to navigate the character progression in this game. When you open up a character's profile, you'll see a few different ways to make them stronger. Level, insight, resonance, psycube, portrait, and sometimes euphoria. Level and insight kind of work together. Leveling gives you stats, and once you hit the current cap, you can upgrade their insight. Insight is basically the ascension of this game. It resets your character's level and increases their level cap while also unlocking powerful new passives. And no, you don't lose your stats when the level reset from it. The only thing going down is the price of leveling up. Your first goal for your character is always to hit Insight 3, because this is how you unlock their full kit. The passives locked behind it are often integral to their gameplay, and at least for the case of my guides, they are all based on their gameplay after Insight 3. After Insight 3, the character's final max level will be level 60. However, it is the best for new players to stay just at level 30. And the reason is very simple. The stats you get from each level are the same, but the cost goes up pretty fast. The cost of going from Insight 3 level 30 to Insight 3 level 60 is almost the same as the cost of going from Insight 0 level 1 to Insight 3 level 30. You really should only start getting your character to level 60 when you have at least 2 teams built. Now, another upgrade system, which are just as important as level for your character stats, but often ignored by some new players, is the resonance. Resonance provides a lot of stats for the characters, and this includes many special stats like damage bonuses and critical chance. Upgrading this board will both increase the size of the board and also upgrade the pieces. It is very important to get your character to Resonance 10. This gives you the final size upgrade and also provide a decent chunk of boost to the pieces. The upgrading resource for Resonance is extremely time-gated, and spreading it too thin can set you back for weeks. My rule of thumb for upgrading your character is focus on the Insight 3 first while upgrading your Resonance as far as you can. And once you finally reach Insight 3, the top priority, then switch to Resonance 10 before hitting level 30. There are some exceptions to this rule, and that's character with Euphoria. Euphoria unlock at Insight 3 level 30 for 6-star characters, and if a character has it, you always want to prioritize this over Resonance. Euphoria often fundamentally change how a character's kit work, and unless the Euphoria itself is bad, it's non-negotiable for a 6-star character with them. The last upgrade system that's directly connected to a character is their portrait. Portrait is this game's dupe system. By acquiring up to 5 additional copies of the character, you will unlock additional enhancement to their kits. You should never chase portraits as a free-to-play player. Psycube is this game's weapon system. Each Psycube comes with a set of base stats and also a special passive. Upgrading Psycube is a relatively slow process due to some very time-gated materials, and for early game players, you should only raise 4 Psycubes as it's relatively easy to change them out in the loadout screen before combat, and you can reuse Psycube in the content where you need multiple teams. Even if you can't use the passives properly, the stats on them are still very useful. You can also enhance the passive of the Psycube by amplifying 6-star Psycube with Gluttony and 5-star with Greed. Gluttony is a very scarce resource and you should only be using it on your best DPSs. Overall, when racing your first two teams, it's best to just focus on your DPS first, then support, and finally sustain. With strong enough DPS and some proper support, you can actually go pretty far without having a proper sustain in the game. Every upgrade system in this game uses Sharper Bounty in some way. For leveling, you'll also need Dust. Insight requires general materials and Amplitude Scrolls. Psycube uses Fodder Psycube for EXP along with Polarizing Globes. Resonance takes Casket Crystals, Resonance Gem, and more general materials. And finally, Euphoria needs Keys of Thought, Euphoria currencies, and even more general materials. So, where to find all these materials? Well, the very first thing you should focus on every patch is to clear the event shop. This shop offers the single best value for stamina in the game. Event shops give you things like Pulse and Gluttony, which you should not ignore, but also all the materials you need to upgrade the first banner character to Insight 3 except the Amplitude Scrolls. Plus, there is also their signature Psycube, which are usually the best in slot. For event patches, you can farm the currency in event stages, and for main story patches, you can get it by just spending stamina anywhere. If you're after a second half character, don't worry either. Their signature Psycube usually gets added straight to the Psycube shop instead, and you can also find some of their materials from different event modes. If you have completely cleared the event shop, you will have to acquire the materials the regular way. You can get the Dust, Sharper Bounty, and Amplitude score from their respective stages. You can also get a decent amount of Sharper Bounty and Dust each day, passively through the Wilderness system. I do, however, suggest that you focus on your first two teams first. You should only focus on the Wilderness, at least for the later levels, after you're able to clear Limbo. Until then, just unlock the basics, and make sure you are farming bonds with your character in there. Those give you a surprising amount of free pool currencies over time. For general materials, you will have to get them from the story stages. There are some community sheets if you care about to have the absolute efficiency, but I just usually farm the latest stages myself. There are also some other ways to get more materials from some permanent one-time content, but we will cover that a bit later in this video. Now, let's talk about both the acquisition and upgrading of Psycubes next. So, this game doesn't have a weapon gacha. You'll get most of them from events or Psycube shop. If you missed one from an event shop, it will get added to the Psycube shop after 3 patches. Purchasing Psycube costs thoughts in entirety, which you farm from Pneuma analysis stages. You get 2 free runs per day with significant bonus drops. But if you're new and need a lot of Psycube, it's worth spending a little extra stamina here, especially during double drop events. Once you've got all the Psycubes you need, you can start using your thoughts in entirety on Gluttony, which amplifies Psycube and boosts their passives. Just make sure to still keep enough in your hands each patch if you're going for the character from the second half. There is also Thoughts Element, another currency you can get to buy Psycube upgrades materials or 5-star Psycubes. Now, older 5-star Psycube were pretty underwhelming, but the new Anecdote Psycubes are actually really good. None of them are in the shop just yet, but the first batch is coming with the anniversary. One last thing you should know about this shop is that you should always try to buy off the globes when refreshed monthly. They are the essential material and also the time gate of your Psycube upgrades. Resonance is a heavily time-gated upgrade system. Mainly, you can only get a limited amount of Resonance Gem and special Casket Crystals each month. You'll pick up some resonance gems and casket from events, but the main source is to purchase them using ornic fluid from artificial somnambulism. If you're new, clear the surface as soon as you can. You'll get a lot of ornic fluid, resonance materials, and also a lot of poles. After that, you'll unlock 2 rotating modes, Limbo and Lucidscape. This resets on the 1st and 16th on every month and are a steady source of both material and pulls. You will need 2, which is why I suggested earlier to try to get 2 functional teams as soon as possible. The other big time gated upgrade is Euphoria, and this one is a game changer. It only applies to certain characters, but when you unlock it, it can completely alter their gameplay, sometimes giving them an entirely new role. Just like Resonance, you can get some time-gated Euphoria currency and keys of thoughts from events, but the main source is another special mode called Reveries in the Rain. Reveries has 3 parts. First, there's the Tower, which give you one-time rewards. It's tough, it needs multiple teams, and the rewards are not really worth the effort. This is mostly made for people who really want to challenge themselves and is currently one of the only truly difficult content people can play. My suggestion is to at least get to 200 meter to max out the weekly currency you can claim, but the content after that is not absolutely necessary, especially for beginners. Second, there is Voyages of Volatility, which resets regularly. The good news is that you don't need a perfect clear. 2 jacked team clearing hard mode is enough, as you only need 8 out of 12 medals to get you everything. And then there's the most underrated part, at least according to my account reviews. Please stop ignoring this, because clearing this not only gives you myths which are insanely strong, as they greatly boost your team's damage in Reveries and add unique effect that can completely change your team's playstyle, you will also get 8 tons of Euphoria materials from it, which allows you to pick up your first few key Euphorias. There is a lot more depth to Reveries, but since this is a beginner guide, I will save them for another video if I ever make one. Outside of these more repeatable rewards that either cost stamina or reset every once in a while, the game also have a few permanent one-time content that you can clear for some quick materials and pull currencies from. First up is just the main story, because they're loaded with pulls and some materials as well. The story itself is genuinely good and I do recommend reading it eventually, but if you're short on time and really just need the rewards, you can always come back later and watch the story in the Atlas. Next, we've got Reflection. These are past events you can unlock up to a certain point. You can get the one-time rewards from clearing the event stages and also from playing the old character stories. To unlock an event, you need 2 pre-number cans, and to get them, you need to come to the reflection screen after you finish your weekly missions. Make sure to do that every week. You can also use pre-number cans to unlock past character anecdote, but not all of them give the same rewards. Prioritize the one with HF polarization first, the heavily time-gated materials for upgrading Psycubes. Next up, we have Windows to the Other Worlds. It's a roguelike mode and it's an absolute goldmine for material rewards. You can farm tons of high-rarity inside material here, plus extra reward for clearing each board. And since it's roguelike, you can experiment with all sorts of playstyles, which keep it from getting stale. The difficulty will also not be an issue because you can just borrow one character for each run. If you're new, grab someone's busted like a P5 Recoleta, or if you're watching this from a later patch, maybe a P5 Nautica. If you are not in a rush for those materials though, you can just do it once per week, because you can get a charge of extra reward per week and you can easily clear an entire board per run at highest difficulty. The third door is a puzzle focused one-time content with a bit of combat mixed in. The rewards are decent and it doesn't cost any stamina. Just a warning though, while the second and the third one was pretty fun and easy to do, the first one has some brutal puzzle design with a tons of backtracking. I highly recommend using a YouTube guide for that one. Oh, and don't ignore the tutorial missions. They're just a set of scripted battle that hands out a tons of free pulse currencies. Some of them can be a little tricky, and if you get stuck, you can always check a guide and copy the rotations. Outside of contents you can do, let's also look at a few important freebies you get for just playing. First, as you progress through the story, you will get access to a thing called Timely Reinforcement. It's a 6-star selector that includes 12 characters. I have a video with a bit more detail on which character to pick, but if you are a complete beginner, I highly recommend for you to just pick up Medicine Pocket. His Euphoria make him a great passive healer, as he can just sit there and you are mostly good to go. Other than that, if you just really want to play the Ultimate Team, the Millennia will be a great universal support for those. There will also be a free 6-star Psycube selector, which I believe coming from like day 5 or something for login. Out of everything in there, I recommend pick up the Inquisitive Deer. Sure, its passive is not that good, but it's a relatively universal Psycube you can throw on your healers. If you're watching this with a collab, you will also get a free 5-star character, Alexios. While we don't know the exact detail yet, he seems to be a great sub DPS for both Azio and Cassandra. I highly recommend building him alongside the collab characters, especially if you're new and lacks the support. You will also get a free item this event that can upgrade a 5-star to Insight 3 instantly. Use it on him. Lastly, by clearing the main story that comes with the 2nd anniversary, you will be able to get a very powerful 5-star ultimate DPS, Buddy Fairchild. He is going to allow you to clear many more difficult content in this game. When the time comes, he will be one of the few 5-star characters that I might actually make a dedicated guide for. For the last part of this guide, let's look at how the gacha works in this game, starting with the type of characters. Reverse 1999 technically has 4 types of 6 stars: Standard, Limited, True Limited, and Collab Limited. When a new character drop, they usually start out as Limited. After 3 patches, they move to the Standard pool. For example, a unit releasing 1.1 stays limited until 1.3, and then becomes standard in 1.4. Once that happens, they can now show up as your 50-50 losses, and sometimes even appear in special selectors that the game gives out during big updates like anniversaries. True limited character works differently. Right now, we get 3 of them per year. Box Carnival at 0.2 version, Half Anniversary at 0.5 version, and Anniversary at 0.8 version. This character will never really enter the standard pool. The only time they come back is at the same event next year. For example, the upcoming anniversary will bring Nautica, the new True Limit character. And last year's anniversary True Limit character Lucy will also rerunning alongside her. Now, Collab Limited is a newer category, and the thing with them is that we don't know if this character will ever rerun unless the game collaborates with the same IP again. So, what are the rates? Well, the base 6-star rate in this game is 1.5%, or 2.36 if you include the soft pity. You are also guaranteed to get a 6-star at 70 pulls if you don't get it before. Almost all banners use a 50-50 system. You have 50% chance to get the rate up when a 6-star appears, and if you miss the rate up, your next 6-star is guaranteed to be the rate up. Most banners with just one rate up character share pity with each other. But True Limited and Collab Limited banners all have their own separate pity that does not carry over to even the same type of banners. These banners also usually have some kind of special bonuses. For example, the Assassin's Creed collab gave you bonus copy after certain milestones, while the new True Limit character will always let you purchase a bonus copy after 200 pulls. There is also the Euphoria banner, which is called Ripples in the Water. This one is special because petty carry over only on the same type of banner between patches, and you cannot lose your 50-50 the first time each patch. If you have some extra pulls in your hands or is a spender, this is unironically a great place to grab some character to finish your team early on. Now, scam banner are a bit of a gamble. When you get a 6-star on the banner, there is a 70% chance to be one of the 2 rate-up character, but you're not guaranteed which one. And of course, their pity does not carry over either. I only recommend pulling on this if you are fine with either character, because otherwise it's far too risky. No matter which banner you pull on, you will always earn cassettes. The blue one can be exchanged for up to 10 pulls per month, but you do not actually need to pull to get them, since weekly mission alone give you enough to claim this 10 pulls each month. There is also the yellow one, which doesn't have a limit on how many pulls you can exchange them for, but there is also the function of purchasing different 6 stars each month. It used to be completely useless, but with Euphoria, some older characters are becoming useful again. And that's pretty much everything I have for the first part of the beginner guides. Hopefully that did not feel too intimidating, as there was a lot to go over. The next part of the beginner guide will be in the form of a tier list, where we go over the current meta of the game, so you can form a plan for what to pull in the future. So make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't yet. And as always, this has been SteamBandX. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.